So anyway, hopefully she can get on.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm going to start,
Shirley,
guys.
make me a co-presenter in case you need me to mute
Oh,
somebody.
wait a minute. Let me. Well, I got it set up that I took off. Anybody can come in.
Well, I'm not about to mute if
Oh,
somebody,
okay. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
because a lot of times I can't ever find my finger to mute them. But when I'm I can see the stuff now. But and you got that black spot on your screen again. It's gone to the side, but I don't know where that black spot come from.
I don't know, and Facebook is flickering, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Mm.
But anyway, good evening, everybody.
Good
How's
evening.
everybody's doing?
Really
It feels good to be healthy.
healthy.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna keep Dr. Richardson lifted up. He's recovering, but he still can't do a lot of talking without coughing. So hopefully, he said hopefully by next week he'll be doing well. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it feels good to be healthy. So take charge of your health, for it's the only place you have to live. I can never say that enough because guess what? We can't call, like I called Amazon today for an order that was backlog, right? I can't call them, ask them for a new arm or a leg or a heart or a kidney. So we have to make sure that we take care of our health. So, what is your body saying to you? Our body is constantly talking to us. And one thing that we need to get into learning is what is my body saying? If you've got an ache or a pain and you haven't knocked it or hurt it, what is your body saying? And what do you hear your body saying? And that can be related to whether it's our pain or ache or stiffness or whatever. And what tools are available to help you hear what your body is saying? And one tools that we have is we have the health evaluation. That health evaluation actually looks at the different body parts, and we're going to talk more about that. So, how do we talk to the body? So, when we look at ask ourselves a few questions, we talk about our sleep pattern. Is it as it should? When you go to sleep at night, when you wake up, are you just as tired as if you never went to sleep? What about your emotions? One day you happy, one day you sad, crying, or what have you. What's going on with our emotions? And one of the most critical complaints that we hear is about fatigue and low energy. That's a way that our body is telling us that something is off. And what about joint pains? As we get older, we constantly talk about arthritis and things like that. But what is our body really saying that's missing that we have joint pain? And our immune system. And our immune system is our internal doctor. And if it's fully equipped, so we have to ask ourselves, is my immune system fully equipped for today's issues? And little things like cracked cuticles and heels and dry skin, all of those are indications that something that's going on and our body is talking to us. And when we talk about our bowel habits, is as good as it should be. So we go through Bowel 101. What color is your stool? Is it a little turd or is it like a sausage? All of that is an indication that your body's telling you something about something that we didn't ate or haven't ate about our stool. So what is your body saying to you? So while we're here in this health seminar, it was quoted that the greatest medicine of all is to teach people how not to need it. So what do we have to know and learn to live a full, well-balanced, healthy life? And hopefully we'll learn pieces of that this evening. And the next question is, are we there yet? You know, how's your body? How many medications are you on to get you moving from one point to another? So when we look at the vision, what is your vision? What is your health goals for yourself in the next 6 months, the next 5 years? What do you want to see improve? And what is the visions of some of the experts? So tonight we're going to talk about a lot of some experts who also have a vision for everybody to be healthy or to learn how to be healthy. The one expert we're going to talk about this evening is Dr. Joe Wallach. He's a naturopath physician, a regular physician for over 50 years. And he has revolutionized what's going on with health. He's published at a really young age in his early 20s in medical and scientific journals. He's started out as a famous veterinarian, and with working with animals, he found out what was needed and what the animals needed. He is also has a degree in comparative pathology. So this naturopath physician has done over 30,000 autopsies on both animals and humans. And on those special projects that he worked on, that's how he was able to determine what was missing from the human and the animal bodies. You know, he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize in medicine. He's defeated the FDA 10 times, and he didn't take them to court to win money. He took them to court to prove to them that certain nutrients were detrimental to our health. And guess what? If you try taking the government to court, you gotta have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. And guess what? He won 10 times. He won on the fight for selenium, saying that it's critical for prostate cancer. He also told them that prenatal, they didn't have enough nutrients, and that's why they had spinal bifida in young babies. Even crib death. Him and his wife worked on a project, and they found out what was missing. So when was the last time you heard of a baby infant dying from crib death? So all that's been eliminated or reduced to that is very seldom. So he also has a book in the Smithsonian, Disease of Exotic Animals, and that's where he compiled all the information that we're going to start talking about this evening. He also is the author of a best-selling book and CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Now, this book has and copies have generated over 50 million. So that's even more than Michael Jackson did with his Beat It. You know, so he's phenomenal in finding out what it is that we need to do. And we say to take charge of our health or to know what our health is telling us. So Dr. Wallach, what did Dr. Wallach discover from his vast experience? He was able to break our body areas down into four basic areas. Hard tissue, which is our bones, our gums, things that are hard. Soft tissues, like our heart, our liver, our spleen. Blood sugar, things that's missing for blood sugar, and digestive. He also says that there's no genetic diseases, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we fall short on. You know, when we go to the doctor and he does a family history, you know, you put down my mother had diabetes, my father had high blood pressure, my grandmother had cancer, and when we get these different symptoms or different chronic diseases, we just give up. Oh, my mother had diabetes, my father had high blood pressure. So we just assume that that's genetic and that's what we're supposed to have. But my question to you, is that really true? And that's what we need to evaluate. He also discovered the value of both minerals and vitamins. So, and you are what you absorb. And as a result of his vast study, he developed a company, Longevity. And the longevity is to help people thrive instead of surviving. And that's what we're doing here in the United States. We're just surviving, but we need to learn how to thrive. So Dr. Joe Wallach says it's not just what you eat that kills you, it's what you don't eat. He says the key to health is giving your body all 90 essential nutrients it needs. Now, it's 90 essential nutrients, and that's the same basic list that the FDA came up on that your body needs daily. Not once a week, not once every other day, but daily. And he developed 90 for life. Even if you consider yourself healthy, you still need 90 for life to make sure you're getting the proper nutrients on a daily basis. So what our bodies require, according to the CDC, it says a healthy body requires nutrients, the nourishing substance and food that is essential for growth, development, and maintenance of a body function. And what is the nutrients that we're supposed to get? Our nutrients are supposed to be from our food. But our food is not like it used to be. So we have to supplement to make sure we get everything that we need. So essential means that if the nutrients is not present, if we're not getting it, then aspects of functions is, and it grows to, excuse me, human health decline. And that's what we see in the United States today. So your body needs full nutritional support, including all essential minerals and vitamins. And minerals cannot function if you don't have the minerals in your body. Vitamins don't do what all they need to do. So it's 90 essential nutrients breaks down to 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 to 3 fatty acids. So when you get everything that your body needs for 90 for life, people see the difference in how their health affects them. So let's ask a question. If this is true, what are you? Every 28 days, your skin replaces itself. Your liver every 5 months. Your bones every 10 years, our bones regenerate. So your body makes these new cells from the food that you eat. So what you eat literally becomes you. And if we're not eating all the 90 essential nutrients, guess what? Our body cannot do what it needs to do. So you have a choice in what you're made of. We have this little cartoon, and the psychiatrist asked the squirrel, well, how do you feel about that? And the squirrel laid on his bed, and he says, when I learned you are what you eat, I realized I was nuts, because that's his diet, So that's a little humor. We need to know what it is that we eat that keeps us being who we need to be. So what about other experts saying about our health from the health medical system? Let's take a look at that. One of the surgeons from Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, he wrote a new book called Unaccountable, What Hospitals Won't Tell You. If you have a screenshot that link and go out there and find out what he's saying. He said profit-hungry doctors in hospitals who take sales commissions from drug and medical using certain drugs that the patients are suffering, and that's why we are so sick. That's one study. Another, a naturopath physician, Ann Wigmore, she says the food you eat can either be the safest or most powerful form of medicine, or the slowest form of poison. So there's a former editor of the New York Journal of Medicine. They write a lot about what's going on in the medical field, Dr. Marcia Allen. She says that over the past 2 decades, that's 20 years, the pharmaceutical industry has moved very far from its original high purpose of developing and producing useful new drugs. Now they primarily are marketing machines to sell drugs of dubious benefit. This industry uses its wealth and power to co-opt every institution that would stand in its way. That's the U.S. government, FDA, academic, medical, and medical professions itself. So, what has Dr. Wiley come up with a complete solution? You know, if they say, and the FDA says we need at least 90 essential nutrients and to keep our body going daily, to be able to replenish our cells and our bones and our liver and whatever else, he came up with a complete solution. And the complete solution contains 3 products. One of them is Tangerine, which is your minerals, multivitamins, and your mineral complex. Your RCFX for your bone and joints, and essential fatty acids for your cellular level. So that's 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 to 3 fatty acids. So all of these come together. All of them are made with a formulation. And what's so unique about this complete solution is that Youngevity has their own mineral mines in Utah. And what else is unique about this complete solution is that you take the product by your weight. So think about it. If you have high blood pressure, I weigh 300 pounds, Joyce weigh 100 pounds, and we're on high blood pressure pills, and we each take 5 milligrams. Now, how is that going to support my 300 pounds to Joyce's 100 pounds with taking the same amount? So that makes a big difference in knowing that it's based on your body weight. And from the animals, that's how they give the animals. Because if you ever look at their food supply, you see it says if they weigh this much, give them this much. And it has all the minerals and the nutrients in it that they need. So that's what makes this complete solution unique. So let's talk about your body's nutritional needs. If it needs 60 minerals, 12 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids, what happens if we don't get it? Well, things starts to break, and it takes time for it to start breaking. And when you go to the doctor, get blood work and different tests, and your body's constantly talking to you and saying that this is aching and you got a pain here or a stiffness there, that means that our body is breaking down. And what comes after that is some type of dis-ease. So if we look at the health crisis in America and around the world, and this hasn't changed, and it's been happening for the longest period of time. Heart disease is still the leading cause of death in the United States. Cancer is still second. 1 in 3 Americans receive a diagnosis of either pre-diabetic or diabetes. And what's devastating about that, our 8-year-old children now are being diagnosed with diabetes. Autism. Autism used to be 1 in 10,000. Now it's 1 in 48. What has changed to make those statistics go down like that? The 6th leading cause of death in America is Alzheimer's. And we're going to talk a little bit about Alzheimer's and the cause of that. And obesity. Look at our children. Our children are overweight. We're overweight. So what is it that we're eating or consuming, and then we're still not healthy? And look at the last 2 years about the COVID-19. You know, if we pay more for health insurance than all other countries put together, how come we had the highest case and the highest number of deaths. Something's not right with that picture. So try minerals and vitamins. In 27 years, there have been 3 million deaths from taking prescription drugs as prescribed. There's 0 death from homeopathic medicine and 0 death from vitamins. So if we look at the goal accomplished by the pharmaceutical company, which make up 5%, 60% of the world's drugs or psychotic drugs are given out. So if we connect that dot, it really doesn't jive on what we should be happening. So, and what about some of the prescription medicine that is prescribed? Now, this prescription medicine, after 50 years, and I said 50 years, they found out that it was a cause of severe malfunctions and missing and severe shortening of the arms and legs in infants. And this drug was used as a morning sickness drug, but it took 50 years. How many children and how many families were affected from this drug that had to be taken off the market, but not until 50 years? You know, so once again, the 90 for life is complete. We have our own mineral, could produce our own minerals, and we have a whole group of formulators that's on our advisory board. That's our doctors, scientists, biochemists who actually come together to formulate this nutrients based on how your body weight. So that's what makes it so unique. So I said earlier that Dr. Wallach had divided the body into 4 body areas: the bone, the soft tissue, the blood sugar, and the digestive. So we're going to talk about all of those areas and look at some of from his autopsies. He was able to break down 900 diseases and the effect of those 900 diseases, and he broke them down into different categories. And that's how we're taught and we learn how to be able to look at what's going on based on certain symptoms. So the first one is calcium deficiencies. So a person suffering from calcium deficiency, some of the symptoms that you'll see: arthritis, back pain, bone spurs, even depression. High and low blood pressure can be the cause of having a calcium deficiency. Insomnia, tooth decay. All of these indications on here are symptoms that occur that's related to calcium deficiency. You know, so our bone, we have bones from the top of our head to the sole of our feet. And from that, all those bones require over 60 nutrients to keep those bones working. And that includes calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, and a whole list of 60 other nutrients to keep our bones. Because remember, every 10 years, our bones regenerate itself. And in order for it to be good, then it needs to have what it needs. You know, we can eliminate 95% of chronic diseases by the choices we make. And that's going to be centered around the foods that we eat. So for our food choices and toxic food ingredients and nutritional deficiencies and lack of physical exercise, all of that contributes to a rise in chronic diseases. Oh, welcome to the world of diabetes. So we have to rethink what we drink. Look at some of these drinks. Mountain Dew. Look how much sugar is in these products. Red Bull. Look how much sugar is in it. And the kids' products. These sipping cups. Look how much sugar is in these diseases. And guess what? Sugar, as a result of sugar, that's also a feeder for cancer. So is that why Cancer is our second leading cause of diseases in the United States. So think about it. Scientists has discovered that it takes 54 molecules of magnesium to consume one molecule of sugar. So if you ate something with a lot of sugar in it, you would need 54 molecules times how much that sugar it is to be able for your body to even process it. So when we look at that, how come we are in such a disorder? The next one is blood sugar imbalance. And we look at some of these diagnoses, and some of these you are familiar with, ADD and ADHD in our kids. What kind of cereals and foods do our kids eat first thing in the morning? Does it have a lot of sugar in it? If they eat in school, what they give them, does it have a lot of sugar in it? All of that can cause a blood sugar imbalance. Bedwetting, bipolar, depression, fatigue, learning disabilities. All of these equate to blood sugar imbalance. So what happens is for blood sugar imbalance and diabetes, when insulin comes through our system, our cells are supposed to open up, but our cells do not open up. So therefore, when we get our A1C taken, it says, "Oh, you have too much insulin." So what they do, they start you on some type of diabetic medication. So the process is that you need at least over 23 cofactors, in addition to help those cells to open up. When they open up, then the insulin and the sugar is needed because our sugar is where we get our energy, good sugar. So according to the New England Journal of Medicine, like I said, they write a lot of articles. They said that the profits from 10 drug companies in the Fortune 500, they accumulated 35.9 billion, and that was more than all the other businesses put together. So that's big business. So let us look. And when we take this medication, how do people get well? People getting well, or people are still sick? So Dr. Otto Warburg, he was a Nobel Peace Prize in 1931. And he got that Nobel Peace Prize because he did the research and said that every single person who has cancer has a pH that is too acidic. And he won the Nobel Prize in 1931, proving that cancer can survive in an alkaline, oxygen-rich environment. But it thrives in acidic, low oxygen environment. So that's a lot to think about. Is that because another reason why there's such a high case of cancer nowadays? So good grief, what happened to good parenting? Who's in the driver's seat? When we look at our children, they go to these fast food and they call them Happy Meals. But when we look at it, they really sad meals. Our children are overweight. They don't have any energy. The only energy they use is these two thumbs when they playing those video games. So that's why our children are so much in danger. The next category, the third one, is digestive disorder. That's become increasingly, and more people are having their intestines removed, acid reflux. How many people do you know that's on that purple pill? The doctors say, "Oh, you got too much acid," but from a naturopath philosophy, you don't have enough. So that's why the acid builds up. Is your stomach trying to say, I can't process what you done put in me, so it needs additional acid. So we're going to talk a little later about what causes that acid in our stomach to not be where it should be. What about allergies? Athletic feet, bloating, constipation, celiac disease, Crohn's disease, diabetes. I mean, diarrhea. All of these are symptoms of a digestive disorder. And let the truth be known, a lot of it's related to the foods that we eat. So you are what you absorb. So when your stomach acid is required to break down the food, and when it does, it goes through the what we call the villi in intestines, and it's like little fingers, movement, and look like if you want to vision like a thick carpet. And what happens when the food comes down, these villi start working. And then they say, oh, I see some calcium. I see some potassium. I see some B12. And your body sends signal. Oh, I need some of this calcium. I need some of this. And that's how our system really functions, because it sends signals. When its stuff come in, it announces, I got some of this. Who need it? And that's how we absorb it. But when our stomach acid can't break it down or is neutralized, guess what? The food just goes straight through. So weak stomach acid leads to bad bacteria in our stomach and in our intestines. And when it's undigested food passes, that's what they call leaky gut. So we have to look at what the foods that we're eating in order to accomplish that, to fix that. So, which do you prefer, the cure or the Band-Aid? Are you healing yourself long term, or you're just covering up the symptoms? That's what we need to look at. Are we supplementing with the good food that we're eating, or we just popping pills all day long? One lady at the gym that I go to, we were talking, and she said, Shirley, she says, to get out of the bed, she takes 11 medications before she even gets up. And I just looked at her. She looked like she had tuberculosis or some other illness, but they got her on purpose at Oxycontin, all these pain pills, because she needed them, because without it she can't really move. So we need to learn what it is that we need to do to get better. So Dr. Daniel Kress, he says that drugs never cure disease. Our body tells us when something is off, and what we do, we shut it up because we just pop pill, and that kills what our body's trying to tell you. And after a period of time, it turns into worse conditions, and then it's at a point of no return. So if we look at our health report, chronic disease has constantly been rising. We're 60th in life expectancy. So that means there's 59 other countries that did live longer. 41st in infant mortality. So that means 40 other countries, their babies stay alive. 1 in 3 Americans are diabetic or pre-diabetic. And we used to be the number 1 obese. Mexico has now taken that over, but we're number 2. So what happened to our health report? What about the food processed from yesterday and how it's processed today? Yesterday, in the last 10 years, it has shifted from quality to quantity. And diets in the 1970s began to shift towards processed foods. That's when a lot of processed food, we go to the restaurant, home, take out food, and greater use of edible oils and sugar sweetened uh, um, uh, beverages. Food that's eaten only in season. We used to be a watermelon, you only got that, or cantaloupe in the summertime or in spring. You can get that all year round. So that means that those foods are GMO processed. Soil is naturally neutral rich. And it's picked when it's right because we get our food from all over 2,000 miles away. They process it before they pick it before the nutrients is even fully in the food. And animals ate natural their natural diet, and green fed. Now they're giving corn and other stuff to beef them up so they get mature early enough so that they are supply the market. And food evolved and matured naturally, um, becoming more nutritious and flavorful. So what's happening today? There's a Senate document 264 that was put out in 1936. And what they said is that our soil doesn't have the minerals that it needs. And it says fruits and vegetables and grains are starving us, no matter how much of them that we eat. They also in the report says no man of today can eat enough fruits and vegetables to supply the stomach with the mineral salts that he requires because the minerals is not in the soil. And they also said 99% of American people are deficient in these minerals. And it any upset of the balance, and we suffer, we get sick, and shorten our lives. And they also put in that report that lacking minerals, vitamins are useless, and your body can't produce minerals. The food only could have it if, in fact, the minerals are in the food. And then we have the Green Revolution, 1940. And this introduced new and high yielding a variety of seeds, and how they made it more durable. They increased the use of fertilizers and pesticides and weedicides, and they put it in the seed, and it kills the insect. And then they said, well, insects are different from humans, but how come we have so much intestinal problems and diseases? And then increase the application of fertilizer. That's why people really needs to consume organic food. So the last category is your EFAs, your essential fatty acid. And a lot of people don't understand about essential fatty acid. But essential fatty acid feeds your individual cells. And that's what keeps us going, our hormones and everything that we need. And when there's a deficiency in it, our body starts breaking down. And cholesterol deficiency. We were told cholesterol needs to be low, and as a result of that, and be heart smart, guess what? People became more sick, and that's on the onset of when Alzheimer's came into play. I know for my husband, that's what happened with him. He kept his cholesterol low. He didn't eat eggs. He would throw away the yolk and just eat the egg whites or buy egg whites. And guess what? He got so deep in depression, and his health was just not what it should be. And we reversed that, and it started building up what he needed to have. And when he used to go to get his blood work done, and his doctor would say, "Oh, Mr. Dower, your blood work is good, but there's a problem. You need to go on statin drugs because your cholesterol too high." And I sat there and say, you know what? He's not taking those statin drugs. I said when his cholesterol was low, he was going through depression. He couldn't sleep and a lot of things. So the doctor just looked at me and said, "Oh, well, what's in your hands?" So that's why we need to know what the right answer and what the questions to ask the doctor and to charge them when they try to give us stuff that's really not going to do us any good. So when we look at this, even crack heels, if you have dry crack heels, that's your body telling you that you did not have enough essential fatty acid and your cholesterol is too low. All these diagnoses, emphysema, gallstones, all of these are related to essential fatty acid and cholesterol deficiencies. So, as I just stated, every cell needs essential fatty acid and every cell needs cholesterol. And the biggest source of cholesterol is right here in our head. So, if somebody call you a fat head, you say thank you because majority of cholesterol is in our brain. And guess what? Our body robbed Peter to pay Paul. So if something needs some cholesterol and doesn't have it, guess what? It goes up to our brain, and as a result, our brain start developing dead cells, and that's why we say, "What's your name? Where you live at? You know, where my car keys?" Because our brain cells have started to die. So insufficient amount of these nutrients will cause the tissues to break down and to malfunction. So Alzheimer's causing drugs like Lipitor and other static drugs. When they're given to that, it lowers your cholesterol even lower. But I'll tell you a fact. Your liver produces 80% of cholesterol. So tell me something. If God created that your liver produces 80% of cholesterol, it has to be important. So why would we need to take a statin drug to reduce that? So if you have take a screenshot of this National Institutes of Health and this book called Lipitor, Thief of Memory, and actually go out and read it for yourself. That's one thing we need to know. We need to be able to do our own research and investigate. Don't take what somebody is saying to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Go out and find out for yourself. This is a story from a wife, and she talked about her husband who was on Lipitor 10 milligrams for 4 years. And from that, he developed cognitive damage, muscle pain, and he was only in his mid-50s, and he was a successful CEO. But until he took the Lipitor and he had short-term memory loss, his career was ruined. So she did this story to tell people, investigate and make sure that that's what your loved one should be taking. So how do you get started? First of all, you need to find out what your body's telling you. And one way of doing that, we offer a free health evaluation. And that health evaluation will evaluate those 4 body areas that we just talked about earlier. And we have been trained to be able to interpret what your body is saying based on your answers. So I advise you to get with whoever invites you on this call and ask for your free health evaluation and then find out what your body is saying to you. So we need to start to clean up our diet. One of the biggest things that I love about the naturopath philosophy is that it tells us the do's and don'ts of different foods and what the dangers of the food. Last time you went to the doctor, did the doctor ask you what foods you ate or what foods you didn't eat? Or they tell you for some not to eat this and that, but do they do a report on well, what did you eat today? Did you eat 3 meals, 5 meals? So one thing for the naturopath, they look at the body, the mind, and spiritually all together, everything, because that's what gets us going. So some of the don'ts. Margarine is a no-no. Use butter instead. They went back and forth about butter, but now they come back and say butter is good. Carbonated drinks, one of the problems that people have for digestive is they drink something that bubbles with a meal. And when you do that, that neutralizes your stomach acid. And your food that you intake is really empty calories, because you should drink any bubbly carbonated drink either 1 hour before or 2 hours after your meal. Fried foods and vegetable oils, they are cancer producers. Processed meats, nitrates and nitrites, they are preservatives, but they have been studied to say that they produce cancer. Processed sugar and genetically modified foods. You know, they have something now out called a pine berry, and it's a cross between a pineapple and a strawberry. So you tell me, what is the genealogy between a strawberry and a pineapple? How are they related? But people are buying them. Gluten, wheat, rye, oats, and barley. Because of the Green Revolution, they changed how they're processed, so now they're not healthy for us. What can we do eat? Eggs, plenty of eggs, non-eradicated vegetables, high antioxidant or foods, high protein meats and snack. And we need to put salt in our food. Salt helps our stomach acid to break down, to process it. Organic, non-GMO food, and we need to drink plenty of purified water. So here's an old Proverbs: diet versus medicine. Who's going to win? When diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. Think about that. So people all over the world is doing the healthy body challenge. You know, on seeing what they do. Dr. Wally says, give me 90 days and take the nutrients at your body, and you determine whether it makes you feel better. There's been some other celebrities, Drew Pearson, Evangelist Holyfield, Willie Nelson, even Danny Glover and Pat Boone. They found out about the natural path and Dr. Wally, and all of them have successfully returned back to where they were. So Dr. Wallach also does at least 2 radio shows a day. This man used to do 300 health presentations all throughout the country because of the last 2 years in the pandemic, but he's still doing the Zoom call. So take a screenshot and call one of these numbers in order for him to if you have a question that you would need to ask. So bottom line, guys and girls, food, God is smarter than you think. Your body's ability to heal is greater than anyone has permitted you to believe. So if you don't like how your body is feeling, how can you change it? Request your free health evaluation from one of the certified health coaches that's connected on this line. Get with the person who called you, that you on the call from. So remember, take charge of your body. It is the only place you have to live. And on that note, are there any questions?